How much did my guest house make in December on Booking.com and Airbnb? If you're new here, my name's Anna and I run a guest house here in the beautiful Devon countryside. I've been running our guest house for about 18 months now, and we currently host it on Booking.com, Airbnb and Vrbo. Of the three platforms, Booking.com is our biggest one. That's where we get most of our bookings throughout the year. When we took over this guest house 18 months ago, when we bought the house that it's attached to, the previous owners had already set it up on Booking.com, so it already had quite a few reviews on there, and then we took that over. Our second biggest platform is Airbnb, so this was one that I started for this annex. So the previous owners didn't set it up on Airbnb, but that's where I set it up and where we are slowly growing and building our reviews and our guests and our bookings on there. So I'm hoping in the next year we can move more of the bookings from Booking.com onto Airbnb, just because the commission is massively different on the two platforms, and you'll see that when I show you the December figures, the difference that makes. The final platform we're on is Vrbo. So if you don't know about that one, that's run by Expedia. We've only had one booking actually in the last year on Vrbo. So it's definitely a much smaller one. Again, that's quite a good site because the commission is massively less. So how it works with the commission on these sites, so with Booking.com, they take around about 10% commission if you go down to the lower rate, but then if you're a preferred partner, this increases substantially, and when you start adding discounts and things like that. So the reason that commission is higher is that Booking.com is doing the advertising and pushing the property for you. So the reason we get a lot of bookings on Booking.com is because we're a preferred partner. We do a lot of discounts and advertising there, so that when people search for somewhere to stay around here, they find that we're the first property that comes up. Now on Airbnb, their commission's about 1 to 2%, something like that, so much less. But the reason that it's much less is that they don't really do any of that advertising and marketing for you. So it's a case of pushing the property yourself, making sure you get those 5-star reviews, you're getting those bookings in, your property is then boosted off the back of that. So that's the difference there. And then it's the same with Vrbo as well. So Booking.com commission is much higher because they do the marketing and push for you. And then Vrbo and Airbnb is less because you kind of have to do the legwork and get the bookings in and make sure that you deliver a really great place for guests to come to that they'll want to come back to again. So here are the numbers on what my annex made in December. So we're going to start with Booking.com. So during that period we had 9 bookings. So these varied from 1-night stays, 2-night stays to sort of longer 5-night stays. So during that time we made around 2,300 or so pounds on Booking.com. Now that does not take into account the commission, and I'll get onto that. And then on Airbnb we only had 1 booking, and that was made £130.92, and that is with them taking the commission and the service fees off the back of that. So the reason Airbnb was less than Booking.com is that a lot of the Booking.com's ones were way in advance. People book out our annex about a year in advance, especially in December. So that meant it wasn't available, so it wasn't available to book on Airbnb. When I do another summary, you'll see that actually at the beginning of January, we got a lot of Airbnb bookings. So it kind of flipped. So it was a bit different as we came into January. So what that means is with all of those bookings, we made £2,440.21. Now that does not take into account the commission from Booking.com. So the commission on Booking.com was £408.80. This is why I want to move more over to Airbnb, because that commission is really high. But we are a preferred partner. I did do some advertising and things like that, so that's why that commission is high. As a grand total, what we made was £2,031.41. That does not take into account things like our overall bills for the house, water, electricity, things like that. General maintenance is difficult to work that out because our house is attached. We can sort of use that money to cover part of those bills, maybe half, maybe less, depends. If we then look at how it compared to December last year, we made around £800. Taking off the commission, it's about £600. Definitely a big difference this year, nearly triple the amount that we made previously. But anyway, I thought I'd just give an overview. Let me know if you enjoy this type of content, if there's something else you'd like to see on this channel. I'll be sharing behind the scenes, changeovers, things like this, how much you can make, tips and tricks for running an Airbnb, stories, things I've learned. So let me know what you enjoy watching, and don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video.